Hello, and welcome to the world of the dreamy scientist, a soft, calming place where time stretches and thoughts begin to float. Tonight, we're not rushing through history or hurrying down dusty timelines. No, tonight, we are gently stepping back, far, far back, into a time when the stars above shimmered in unfamiliar constellations, and the very ground beneath us was still in the process of becoming. Picture the Earth not as we know it today, but as a mysterious puzzle, where the pieces, our continents, were only just beginning to drift apart, slowly and silently, like sleepy islands setting sail. In this dreamy journey, we'll meet the dinosaurs, not through the clamor of roaring beasts, but through whispers of their ancient world, how they slowly rose, how they reigned with quiet might, and how their long chapter came to a dramatic, final pause. But do not fear. We're not stampeding across history like a herd of frightened Triceratops. We're going to stroll calmly, carefully, like stargazers wandering through the mists of time. This isn't just a lesson. It's a lullaby for curious minds. So, let the day slip from your shoulders. Rest your thoughts. Let your breath become slow. Whether you drift off before the mighty T-Rex takes center stage or stay awake through every ancient footstep, you are welcome here. This story, while filled with strange creatures and powerful forces, is not meant to excite. It is meant to settle you, to gently guide your thoughts away from today, and into a realm where imagination walks with ancient giants. If you enjoy this quiet kind of storytelling, where science is slow, soft, and soothing, do consider staying a while. Let the gentle voice of time carry you. Maybe, as you listen, you're tucked in bed, surrounded by the hush of night, your pillow a cloud beneath your head, and your room dim like the deep ocean. You might be listening from a sleepy city lit by midnight lamps, or from a peaceful village where only the crickets sing. Wherever you are, Tokyo or Toronto, Karachi or Copenhagen, you're safe, and you're welcome. Close your eyes if you like. Take a deep breath. For the dinosaurs have waited over 200 million years. They won't mind waiting a few moments more for you to join them. Our journey begins not with fanfare, but with quiet. With a strange, eerie silence that fell over the Earth roughly 252 million years ago. A silence born from loss. The Great Dying, as scientists call it, was the most devastating extinction event this planet has ever known. It swept away nearly 90% of all ocean life and about 70% of land creatures. Can you imagine walking through a once lush forest and hearing nothing? No birdsong. No insect buzz. Just the wind sliding between bare branches and the distant creaks of a world reshaping itself. It was as if Earth pressed a great reset button. The old world had ended. But from the stillness, something new began to stir. From the ashes of the Permian period, new forms of life began to grow. And though the dinosaurs had not yet arrived, the stage was being carefully set. At that time, Earth didn't look like it does now. Not even close. The continents weren't scattered far and wide as they are today. Instead, they were all fused together into one enormous land called Pangaea, wrapped around by a vast single ocean known as Pangaea. Imagine being able to walk from what we now call Canada to India without needing a boat. Just sunblock, because much of Pangaea was scorching dry desert. The air was thinner, the oxygen lower, and the climate unpredictable. Volcanoes poured gas and lava into the skies, changing the land in fiery waves. The plants that grew were tough and wiry, built to survive heat and drought. Yet even in this harshness, nature began its quiet experiments. A new type of reptile, called archosaurs, started to appear, creatures that would one day become dinosaurs, crocodiles, pterosaurs, and even birds. They moved differently. They breathed more efficiently. They walked upright. In this challenging world, they were nature's new idea, agile, sturdy, and quietly preparing to rise. In a world long before our own, during the ancient age of the Jurassic, the skies were filled with creatures that seemed almost magical. Some were as small as pigeons, flapping through the air with quick, agile wings. Others, like the Dimorphodon and the Rhamorhynchus, soared wide with leathery wings stretched far across the sky, their movements graceful and strange. These creatures were nothing like anything we see today, alien in form, with long jaws, sharp teeth, and sometimes beautiful, strange crests on their heads. They looked like dragons, but one's explained not by myth, but by science. While the spotlight often shines on the giant, famous dinosaurs, the Jurassic Age was home to many lesser-known, but equally important animals. There were tiny bug-eaters, little mammals no larger than your hand, and swift hunters the size of house cats. These small beings played their own part in the great living web of their time. The world was alive with connections and stories we can only imagine. One of the most delicate and touching things about this era is how much we've learned from more than just bones. The Earth back then left us quiet memories, fossilized footprints pressed into ancient ground. These tracks show herds moving together, predators following prey, and baby dinosaurs walking beside bigger ones. It's like reading soft traces in wet sand after the sea has left, a subtle but powerful record of movement and life. The Jurassic was not just about giant beasts. It was a time of change, growth, and amazing new designs in nature. The earth was warm, the air busy with flight, and the forest echoed with deep, heavy footsteps. Creatures we now see as legendary were once as real and alive as anything today. And yet, evolution wasn't done with them. These animals were still changing, still growing, still adapting in ways no one could predict. Their journey had only just begun. As we move forward to the Cretaceous period, about 145 million years ago, the dinosaurs weren't merely surviving, they were flourishing beyond imagination. If the Jurassic was a time of giants stretching taller and stronger, the Cretaceous was a time of flair, style, and specialization. It was their golden age. Dinosaurs had taken over every part of the globe. They had adapted to countless environments, creating species that were both awe-inspiring and sometimes downright strange. The land itself was shifting. The giant supercontinent Pangaea had fully broken into pieces. The continents we know today were beginning to take shape, though their edges were still messy and unfamiliar. North America had an inland sea running through it. South America drifted away from Africa. Warm, shallow oceans lapped against new coastlines, and the whole planet was blanketed in warm temperatures. Sea levels were high, and something quietly revolutionary was happening in the plant world. Flowers began to bloom. Yes, simple flowers, what we now see as gentle, beautiful parts of nature, were once a dramatic shift in life on Earth. Before flowers, the world was ruled by ferns, conifers, and cycads. These were tough, old-fashioned plants that didn't offer much excitement in terms of food. But with flowers came fruits and seeds, and that changed everything. Animals could eat more energy-rich food. New insects appeared to pollinate them. Herbivores changed their eating habits. Even birds and dinosaurs began to evolve in response to these blooming beauties. It was, in many ways, a quiet but powerful green revolution. Among the stars of this age were the ceratopsians, creatures like Triceratops, Styracosaurus, and Pachyrhinosaurus. With huge skulls, decorated with horns and frills, they looked like knights dressed for battle. Triceratops alone had a head longer than a tall man is tall, over 7 feet wide. These elaborate head shapes weren't just for looks. They helped with defense, attracted mates, and maybe even helped dinosaurs recognize each other. Nature likes creatures that can do more than one thing. These animals were solid, with thick legs and strong bodies. Their mouths were sharp like beaks, perfect for chopping through rough plants. They probably lived in herds and looked after their young together. Picture them moving slowly across a field, tails swaying, horns gleaming in the ancient sunlight. And then there were the ankylosaurs, walking tanks covered in armor. Some had heavy clubs on their tails that could smash bones in a single swing. It's hard to believe any predator would even try to attack one. Imagine a hedgehog the size of a van, with a tail like a medieval weapon. On the opposite side were the hadrosaurs, duck-billed dinosaurs with advanced teeth systems. Some had over 1,000 teeth, always being replaced as they wore down. They could grind up tough plants easily and may have made low, echoing calls with their crested heads. They lived in herds, cared for their young, and likely had rich social lives. Of course, no dinosaur discussion is complete without Tyrannosaurus rex. The name alone makes people sit up and listen. T. Rex was massive, up to 40 feet long and as heavy as a bus. Its teeth were the size of bananas, sharp and strong enough to crush bones. It didn't just bite, it destroyed skeletons and swallowed the pieces. Some argued it was more of a scavenger than a hunter, but most agree it was both. With a strong sense of smell and powerful legs, T. Rex was a beast you wouldn't want to meet. And yet, it was part of a bigger family. There were smaller theropods too, like the velociraptor, which was no bigger than a turkey but just as dangerous. These raptors may have had feathers, not for flying but for warmth, camouflage, and showing off. Feathers were becoming common among many dinosaurs in this era. They were no longer just odd features, they were useful tools for survival. Some dinosaurs had full coats of feathers, making the world look like a parade of prehistoric birds. And real birds were already taking flight. Creatures like Ichthyornis flew like seabirds, while Hesperornis dove into the oceans, using wings to swim instead of fly. Birds were stepping away from their dinosaur cousins and becoming something new and independent. In the oceans, giant marine reptiles ruled. Mosasaurs were huge sea lizards with sharp teeth and sleek bodies. They hunted fish, turtles, and even other marine reptiles. Plesiosaurs glided through the water with long necks and strong flippers. Ichthyosaurs, shaped like dolphins, swam with speed and grace, giving birth to live young. All of this, the land, the air, the water, was alive with noise, color, movement, and story. Dinosaurs weren't just surviving. They were changing, experimenting, growing in every direction. From tall forests to deep seas, from feathered gliders to armored giants, the Cretaceous world was pulsing with energy. And it was all driven by the same forces we know today: slow changes over time, the needs of survival, and the endless push of evolution. It's humbling to realize how rich and full that world was. The age of dinosaurs wasn't just a path to extinction. It was their finest hour, a world glowing with life before the quiet that followed. In the later years of the Cretaceous period, the skies were alive with a swirl of feathers and movement. Some birds nested together in large colonies, raising their young in groups, while others likely traveled with the changing seasons, migrating to warmer places when the cold began to settle in. Meanwhile, their cousins, the theropods like Velociraptor and Microraptor, were not just running on the ground. They were climbing trees, gliding between branches, and living lives that closely mirrored those of modern birds. These creatures were covered in feathers too, not the strong, sharp feathers of eagles or hawks, but soft, fluffy fuzz that kept them warm and may have helped them attract mates or warn off rivals. The world was changing, and feathers were becoming the fashion of survival. Imagine a small dinosaur, its skin not just dull gray or brown, but alive with color, bright electric blue along its back, maybe fiery red and deep orange feathers spreading from its tail during a territorial dance. The ancient world wasn't just green forests and brown dirt. It was bright, alive, colorful. As dinosaurs ruled the land, mammals were still small but growing bolder. They looked like tiny shrews, mostly active at night, but they were clever. Some mammals glided from tree to tree. Others tunneled underground or even hunted small dinosaurs. One fossil from China shows a mammal and a dinosaur locked in battle, both frozen in stone mid-fight, a dramatic moment preserved forever. The Cretaceous was full of surprises. Every big creature had smaller ones living in its shadow. Herds of Edmontosaurus wandered while tiny bugs buzzed around them. Scavengers followed predators. Birds made nests in cliffs. Pterosaurs glided silently above. The plants, often overlooked, were having their own revolution. Flowering plants, called angiosperms, were taking over. These new plants attracted insects like butterflies, bees, ants, and beetles. In return, these insects helped spread pollen and seeds, forming partnerships we still see today. With new fruits and seeds available, herbivores changed too. Some animals evolved special teeth and stomachs. Others began to travel with the seasons, following the blooming flowers. Walk through a Cretaceous meadow in your mind, hadrosaurs munching on tall flowers, dragonflies buzzing above, small mammals darting beneath leaves. It was a rich world, full of movement, sound, and color. Life was trying new things, branching in every direction. Some lines would end forever. Others would carry on. The pterosaurs and sea reptiles would vanish. But birds and mammals? They would continue, carrying with them the seeds of tomorrow's world. In these final million years before the end, dinosaurs were at their strongest. They lived on every continent, in every climate, woven into every part of the ecosystem. They were at the height of their power, yet unaware that the end was near. Somewhere in space, an asteroid had already started its journey. And here, on Earth, life continued under golden skies. Pterosaurs soared above coral-colored clouds. Hadrosaurs grazed in blooming fields. Raptors left footprints in the river mud. Everything was alive. But change was coming. It began with a light in the sky. 66 million years ago, above what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, a mountain-sized asteroid flew toward Earth at an unimaginable speed. In one moment, the skies were calm. In the next, everything changed. This was the Chicxulub impact, the event that triggered the fifth major mass extinction in Earth's history. The force of the crash was beyond words. Billions of atomic bombs worth of energy exploded at once. The land boiled. Shockwaves raced around the planet. Forests burned, even far from the crater. If you were there, you'd see a flash, then darkness. But the worst damage came after. The heat from the strike sent clouds of rock and sulfur high into the sky. These particles blocked sunlight, covering the earth in a dark, cold shadow. Plants stopped growing. Without plants, herbivores starved. And without herbivores, carnivores had no prey. The whole system fell apart. Temperatures dropped. Rain turned acidic. The oceans became toxic. Over time, nearly everything big began to vanish. Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, even the mighty T. Rex, they all declined slowly, not instantly. Populations shrank. Habitats disappeared. Life became harder and harder to sustain. But not everything died. Some small, adaptable animals survived. Birds, those The ammonites, spiral-shelled creatures, were gone forever. It was a huge loss. But extinction, as cruel as it is, often opens space for something new. The survivors inherited a quiet world. As the skies cleared and warmth returned, life began to grow again. Plants came back. Insects buzzed. Mammals, small, warm, and adaptable, started to spread into new areas. A question remains: why did the big dinosaurs die, while mammals survived? One reason is size. Big animals where paleontology comes in, the science of discovering the past from what it left behind. Dinosaurs aren't just museum pieces. We're still uncovering new species and rewriting old ideas. Each year brings fresh finds and deeper understanding of the Mesozoic world. Fossils only form under special conditions. A dinosaur had to die in just the right place, like a riverbed or floodplain, and be quickly buried by mud, sand, or volcanic ash. Over time, pressure turned the bones to stone. But finding fossils is tough. Much of Earth's surface is hidden under forests, oceans, and cities. Only a few places expose the right rock layers, deserts, cliffs, and badlands. That's why paleontologists often search in places like Montana, Mongolia, Argentina, and China. Even then, fossils are rarely perfect. Most discoveries start with a tiny clue, maybe a bit of bone peeking from the dirt. It takes a trained eye to spot it, careful hands to dig it out, and years of study to understand it. Once found, fossils are mapped, wrapped in plaster for protection, and sent to labs where the real work begins. Over thousands of miles, ancient fossils are transported like fragile time travelers, wrapped safely in plaster jackets, making their long journey to laboratories and universities. Once they arrive, the real work begins. Paleontologists, scientists who study ancient life, carefully unpack these treasures and begin their delicate craft. Using soft brushes and tiny dental tools, they gently clean away layers of dirt. Then, with machines like CT scanners and high-powered microscopes, they peer inside the bones without harming them. They compare each fossil with those already found in museums, trying to figure out what kind of creature it belonged to. This is not just ordinary science, it's part detective story, part puzzle solving, and part time-traveling dream. Sometimes this quiet, detailed work reveals something completely unexpected. One famous example is the discovery of Dinosaurs. For many years, the only parts of this dinosaur anyone had seen were two gigantic clawed arms, each longer than a tall human. No skull, no body, just the arms. It was a mystery that sparked wild ideas. Was it a monstrous predator? A slashing hunter from a forgotten world? But in 2014, more pieces were uncovered, and the truth was stranger than fiction. Dinosaurs turned out to be a big-bellied dinosaur with a humped back, a duck-like beak, long feathers, and a face that looked like a shoe-built bird. It was like nature had played with a dinosaur-making machine. books, toys, and even on cereal boxes. Children often learn to say names like Ankylosaurus or Pachycephalosaurus before they can spell their own names. There's something magical about these creatures, part alien, part familiar. They were big, but not beyond understanding. Ancient, but easy to imagine.